one of the big takeaways of this convention was how disputed the Trump candidacy remains. We actually saw former U.S. Republican presidents, George H.W. Bush, George W. Bush, not attend. The two former nominees for the Republican Party, Mitt Romney and John McCain, also did not attend. One of Trump's major rivals, Ted Cruz, actually refused to endorse him in his speech, which led to a certain amount of criticism by other candidates about his behavior and his actions. So I think what we've seen is, in fact, a very divided party. Some doubts, some aspersions were cast about the professionalism of his own campaign.
Right.
Said some of the anti-China rhetoric, it doesn't really apply to India. Some of it might actually be harmful for India. But I'm not sure there's much here that indicates an opening for India. He's never said we need to prevent trade with China but open up with India
as
an exchange or rebalance or something like that. If he had, I think we would be viewing this slightly more differently. But in the U.S., what people mean by isolationist in the U.S. is not, it would actually be normal in most other countries.
Mm-hmm.
The U.S. is very unusual. It has a set of global military alliances and alliance commitments, mutual defense treaties with several countries. It has troops based in many countries, which no other country really has. A permanent military installations spread so far afield, so in many ways the U.S. is a unusual power in a way that, say, China does not have those kinds of yet have those kinds of arrangements. This is really, in some ways, this is an aberration, and it's really been this case only since the 1940s, since World War II. It was not so before that. And so in some ways, his so-called isolationism is not, in fact, just it's not what we would consider isolationism in an Indian context or in most other countries' context. It's an isolationism in an American context. Some would say this is actually, he wants to make America a more quote-unquote normal country.
How would a President Donald Trump affect India, if at all?
The honest answer, and perhaps one he would give honestly, is I don't know. We have seen, this is one area where we've seen in some ways conflicting remarks by him on India. He said that India is doing very well. He talks about India, but he also speaks, in that sense, it's not necessarily in a positive context. He sees India as a competitor, and just as he sees China as a competitor. So it's a mixture of admiration and fear, if you will. He has, I think the immigration issue is one that is something that India should be a little bit concerned about. His anti-immigration rhetoric has mostly been on low-skill immigration coming from Mexico. It's not really been targeted very much at high-skill immigration, which is what comes from India. In fact, at one point in one interview, and this was a throwaway remark by him, he said he meets smart Indians at places like Harvard, and he would give them all green cards as soon as they graduate. So again, which is sort of somewhat contradictory to his anti-immigration rhetoric.